Hello and welcome to another viewer voted review, the video game review series where you the viewer get to pick what I review next. Now last time I reviewed Toe Jam and Earl for the Sega Genesis and I gave you 4 choices, and with 47% of the vote you voted for Eco for the PlayStation 2. So let's take a look at Eco and see if it still holds up. And don't forget to stay to the end of this video where I'll have 4 more choices for you to vote on what I will review next. In this game you play as Eco, a kid with horns and therefore the pariah of the village. At age 12 you were thrown in a castle as a sacrifice to ward off evil spirits, but luckily for you the prison you're trapped in is on a faulty foundation, so it's easy to escape. But something compels you to explore further, and that's where you find a princess who's getting ready to get her soul sucked out by an evil queen. You break the Princess Yarda free, and now it's up to you to escape the castle with the princess intact. Along the way you'll face a multitude of puzzles and some parasitic spirits who will attempt to grab the princess and return her to the queen. The gameplay is pretty simple and complicated at the same time. You press triangle to jump, circle to grab, throw and swing, and X to drop down, and R1 to call Yarda to you and take her hand. And this game is essentially a very large escort mission. Yarda is necessary to solve puzzles, and obviously you need to help her escape. For the most part, Yarda can take care of herself, but if you leave her alone for too long, spirits will come and try to take her away. There was a part where I kind of just left her here to explore, and I came back just in time to see her being sucked into a portal. And this game really doesn't hold your hand because that's what the manual is for. There are 0 tutorials in this game, which can be refreshing if you're used to modern games always telling you when the exact time to press X is. But at the same time, it's kind of frustrating when you're at a puzzle and you can't seem to figure out exactly how to solve it. Most of these puzzles are so simple that you'll feel dumb for even trying it a different way. Like this puzzle where you have to get Yarda up to a higher level. There's a chain that Eco can climb that gets you up to the top, but then there's a block that he can push over the side. And then there's a square imprint where the chain should be, and it's just high enough to get Yarda to reach it. But that's not how you solve the puzzle. You need to push the block over the wall and then just call Yarda over to you where she will climb the brick and then reach for your hand to pull her up. Yarda can also take leaps longer than what's obvious, so when you figure out her limitations, the game starts to make a lot more sense and gets a little bit easier as time progresses. While the game isn't too forgiving in teaching you how to play, it is very helpful that it provides plenty of save stations in the form of these magic sofas. There's a couch for almost every puzzle that you solve, so if you get killed or the princess gets captured, you don't have to retrace too much of the game. The combat in this game is more of a nuisance than anything else. The spirits you fight aren't really that tough, but they will end your game for you if they get a hold of Yarda. Later in the game, spirits have taken her and then flew to a portal way out of reach, and good thing that you can save as many times as you want in this game because it is very frustrating when Yarda gets taken and you can't actually swing the camera around to find her in time. This game really shows its age in its game design. The camera is fixed, which makes it difficult to see where you need to jump, and you might needlessly fall off a cliff. Also, there are actions in this game which are very particular in how you trigger them. Lighting torches needs to be incredibly precise, and same with jumping off chains and even trying to save the game. I sat down one time on this sofa, and because there's a puzzle that needs to be solved nearby, Yarda wouldn't sit down until I solved that puzzle. And because of those little quirks, it does really break the immersion that this game tries to achieve. But I guess that's to be said about all 3 Team Eco games. Shadow of the Colossus and The Last Guardian both suffer from the same quirky mechanics. I guess you could say that gives the game more charm, but in my opinion it comes off as very frustrating. There have been many times that I've just wanted to quit playing these games because of those hiccups. While Eco is a cult classic now, sales in the US were very poor initially, basically due to the fact that the game was released September 30th, 2001, just over 2 weeks after September 11th. Also, the box art in the US looks like a really cheap generic game. The artwork and the pictures on the back of the box don't really do this game justice to someone checking it out on the shelf. And assuming that this was sold in big box retailers like Best Buy and Target, this was probably overshadowed by the upcoming Grand Theft Auto 3 that would come out next month. Ico only sold 270,000 copies in the United States from 2001 to 2009. The interest in Ico really took off when Shadow of the Colossus dropped in 2005 with a massive advertising campaign. The spiritual successor of Ico would encourage people to look for more games by the same developer, and because of the low sales numbers, this game fetched over $100 complete, and thus Ico was very sought after by collectors. But in 2010, that all changed with the rumors that an Ico remaster was coming to the PlayStation 3. The price started to plummet in March and bottomed out in September of 2010 when the Ico and Shadow of Colossus HD collection was officially announced for the PlayStation 3 at the Tokyo Game Show. Having a better quality version of Ico with enough to go around has allowed Ico's price for the PlayStation 2 to remain steady at $12 complete in box. And overall, Ico is a really good game worth playing. It's just not necessarily my favorite game, but I can see why people can appreciate it. And for the time, this game was pretty groundbreaking, but poor sales kept it from becoming a smash hit. Alright, and that's Ico for the PlayStation 2. Definitely a game that is well worth the price now on the PlayStation 2, but it's starting to show its age. But I'm curious to hear what you think. Did this review sway you in any way? Let me know in the comments below. Now let's get to your 4 choices for video games. I decided to keep it retro, so PlayStation 2 or older. Your choices this time are Intelligent Cube for the PlayStation 1, Bubble Bobble 2 for the NES, Jurassic Park for the Sega Genesis, and Banjo and Kazooie for the Nintendo 64. Now voting is really easy. I'll have a poll up on my community tab and you'll have 1 week to vote. After the week is done, I'll tally up the votes and announce the winner and get to the review. So make sure that you vote as soon as this video is over. And that's this episode of Viewer Voted Review. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up, and if you're new here, consider subscribing for future gaming content. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Super Nicktendo, and I'll see you next time.